Okay, so hello and good morning to our panelists and our attendees. Very excited to have you all with us to talk about woodworking for JCCs and day camps. My name is Mike Schwab. I'm the founder of Maple Wood Shop, and I'm grateful to be joined by Gottfried, who's the director of Camp Deeny Riback, and Carla, Rudow, the director of Camp Veritans. In this session, our goal is to talk about different aspects of implementing a woodworking program at a JCC or day camp. So I don't know if anyone can, yep, don't worry, it'll end. So just as an aside, one of our safety rules at Maple Wood Shop is that something will go wrong. It's how you deal with it that matters. And so we definitely try and instill, and I think we're in alignment with the missions of our panelists about something's always going to happen, and woodworking is a great way to let children learn that you can always roll with it. So with that, I would like to ask each of our panelists, maybe starting with Dana, to please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your camp.
Sure. Hi, I'm Dana Gottfried. I'm director of Camp Deeny Riback at the JCC Metro West. We have about 400 campers throughout the summer that come to our camp, aging from 3.5 years old to entering 10th grade. We are an off-site property, so our year-round base is at the JCC in West Orange, New Jersey, but our property is in another town called Flanders, New Jersey, about 40 minutes away from the JCC. We have going on 50 years this summer, so we're really excited about that. And this is we just finished our second summer having the woodshop kit on property.
Good, thank you. And Carla?
Hi, I'm Carla Rudow. I'm the director for Camp Veritans. We are a nonprofit day camp located in Haledon, New Jersey. And very much like Deeny Riback, we've been around, my gosh, like might be close to 70 years now. We're located on 60 plus acres of woods. So we're here year round. And this past summer, and we have kids from pre-K through 10th grade coming in. And this past summer was the first summer that we brought the woodworking in. It was an incredible addition to our programming. The kids loved it. So we're very excited to have a second year, going into our second year with it.
Fantastic, thank you both. So as I mentioned, the format is that I'd just like to ask each of you some questions about your experience with Maple Wood Shop and also relative to other programming, so that people on the call can learn from your experiences. So the first one is, let's start, it's kind of broad, but like the benefits of woodworking. Why woodworking versus some other activity? And a follow-on question is, maybe mention some things that you expected or didn't expect. Maybe Carla, would you like to start?
Sure. I've always loved woodworking. I think it's a great outlet for kids. It allows them creativity. It's physical. It's not, you're using everything, your brain, you're thinking, you're acting with it. I just assumed everybody would love it, but I wasn't sure. And for years we've been toying with the idea, but the problem was power tools, and that is always a little frightening to bring in, particularly working with kids. And by finding the right person, it was just amazing. The kids learn things that they don't get a chance to do anymore in the public schools. Programs have been cut. So now they've had the opportunity to work with a handsaw, to see how to measure and cut. And it just was amazing to see the excitement on the kids' faces on their finished products and what they got to do with it. So I thought it was awesome. Actually, when we did a survey of our campers at the end of the summer, it was the highest rated program.
Really?
So, yeah, the kids loved it.
So was that expected or unexpected?
I wasn't sure what to expect. And I was very excited about it. Finding a program that kids in this day and age really love, that's not automated, that's not, like jazzy in terms of graphics and stuff, can be a little, territory that is not used to. And I was thrilled with it. So yeah, I was very happy. It was a great investment.
Great, great. And Dana, what did you find the benefits to be that were expected and unexpected?
You know, I have to agree with pretty much everything that was just said. Um, and I think for us, the idea of bringing this in was, one, it was a way to begin a new area at camp, which we were looking to do, and in a fairly easy way, because if you haven't seen the kit, it's pretty much gift wrapped for you. And then and the training also was very accessible to us to be able to achieve. Saying, you know, the first thing we said to Mike was, we don't have anyone to to do this, and he said, don't worry about it. So we didn't, but you know, our campers, to bring something that was a completely new medium for them, because we didn't have anything close to woodworking. We have, you know, the typical arts and crafts. We have a little bit more fine art. We have ceramics and technology, but we did not have anything like this. So it brought a new tactile element for our kids. And the first summer we were learning and we were going, and they really liked it. And then last summer we really did more with it, and it was also one of our most popular activities, and we really get to see that on a weekly basis, because we offer certain age groups the opportunity to choose a week-long project to do at the end of every day, and woodworking and our technology were two of the top ones, so every week. And so it was really exciting to see that, and also we thought maybe because it's loud, it does get loud sometimes with the hammering and stuff, but the kids enjoyed it. It was different and it was new, and we really saw them be creative, even with when we were doing pre-prescribed projects. A lot of times alongside it, they would just be creating their own thing with the scraps and with the extra woods, and just coming in and just having fun on their own. So it was really an outlet for them that we didn't expect it to be, but we're really happy that it became so.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. Next is, let's talk about staffing. You know, we hear a lot, you know, there's 50% turnover camps year to year. And, you know, with the activity like this, a lot of people thought they needed to have an experienced woodworker lead it, which is, you know, helpful, but not always true. And so I'm wondering, maybe Dana, again, you could share your experience with staffing. You've had two different people so far, right?
Yes. So our first summer, we were able to say, yes, we're going to make this happen closer to the start of the summer. So we didn't have a ton of time to find somebody to run woodworking. So we ended up hiring a young lady who was much younger than what I think I would have originally liked to put in there. And she was fabulous and she loved it. She had no experience at all with woodworking. And when I asked her about it, her eyes kind of got really big. Like, oh, okay. But she, I think, really took on ownership of going online and watching all the videos and the tutorials and doing all of that learning on her own, which was really amazing. The part though that was a little bit challenging for her, I think, because she was young, she didn't have confidence in what the different age groups of kids could handle. So she didn't really get beyond certain projects during the first summer, I think, for her own comfort level. So this past summer, we switched gears a little bit, and we ended up hiring one of our campers' moms, who is also a teacher in our early childhood program and wanted to be at camp in the summer instead of at the JCC. So, and she just owned it and rocked it, and now has a kind of connection and ownership over our kit that we bring back to the JCC during the year, and our early childhood is going to be using it, and she's going to be leading projects for them during the year as well. So, and she's returning next summer to do it. So she's really kind of found her place at camp, and we're able to go a bit above and beyond because she has a good understanding of the different age groups and what they're able to do motor skills wise, and understanding what where they can go and grow over the course of the summer. So that was really great.
Very nice. Thank you. Thank you. And Carla, what was your experience with staffing?
Well, we got really, really lucky. Dave, who came in, woodworking is a passion of his. And so he came in and he took the program and ran with it. And he was just fabulous. Not only did he take the program and use what you provided, and then he put into his own on it? And he knew he's a teacher during the year, so he really got the kids. So I guess I have to say I got really lucky. Somebody was watching over, and we didn't really have to train anyone. And he is coming back again this summer. So so I was very excited. The kids loved him. They related to him, and he just really was able to get a feel for them and then adapt from there. And he's already creating for next summer, working on the programming to see where we're going to go with it. So yeah, we were really fortunate with that. And then we brought in 2 of our other staff members, happened to be 2 moms who work in another area, and Dave was working with them. So when he couldn't be there or he needed assistance, they were there to help out also, which was really helpful.
Interesting. So the 2 moms, yeah. Did they have any woodworking background?
They did not. They didn't have any woodworking background, and they loved it. So they were like, "Oh, can you put us in there more next summer?" And I was like, "Well, let's wait and see." But it's good. So this way we had a backup. So if he needed extra help or for some reason he couldn't be there, I had somebody else who could cover.
That's great. A deep bench is a luxury. And
yes.
We find the irony is that we try to make woodworking accessible, and we try to make it accessible to camp directors and the kids, by enlarging the pool of talent you can tap to do a program like this. And we find about maybe 90% of the people that we train don't have any woodworking background, but we do, similar to your experiences, the people who really excel at it are great with kids. Like, they have the presence in the room, they have some experience working with kids, and they're crafty, but they could be an art person, they could be a STEM person. They don't necessarily need to be a woodworker. The irony with the woodworkers is that they often bring habits from the 1950s with them, and we try to promote safety for the 21st century. So it's a little bit of a double-edged sword when you find a woodworker. But when you find a crafty person that's learning a new skill, they learn it, kind of our way, with a lot of safety built in. And with the safety, we try to give the agency to the children by letting them do, so much of the projects. That's great. Thank you. Hey, let's switch gears and let's talk about programming, because day camps are notoriously busy places with, sometimes short periods, and there's a lot of different activities. You want to give kids exposure to things they're not doing during the year. So maybe Dana, again, if you could start with how long are your periods and what did you do for woodworking?
Sure. So one thing that we're going to be doing this summer in general is that we traditionally have a 30-minute period, but we're actually going to extend it for this summer and moving forward, because in general we feel that we need more time for specific areas, especially woodworking. We had a lot of almost finished projects and coming back, so it kind of prevented us in that 30-minute time frame to keep going with different projects throughout the year or throughout the summer. But having that a little bit extra time, 35 to 40 minutes in a program, is much better, because what we saw was those kids that got to choose woodworking as their week-long project, they were in that space for an hour a day for 5 days, and they were really churning out every week an amazing project, which was really great. And they just had more time in the space to really just enjoy being there instead of feeling rushed to get something done. So it really does work both ways. There are projects that are faster and projects that take a lot more time and more days to put in, and they both were successful. So it's really just it's a program that can really mold to what you need, as opposed to you having to mold to what was coming to you.
And did you have people your person set up and groups of kids are coming in one wave after another?
Yes. So our schedule is pretty back to back. We our specialists have some time during the day where they don't have anybody, and some days where there's a heavier schedule than others. But for the most part, groups would come back to back. So it was a very easy turnaround program. It didn't require a ton of prep for each group to be set up. So that way we were able, like the specialist didn't feel overwhelmed that she wasn't ready or prepared for the next group that was coming in. She felt very, very easy to try and make those transitions.
Got it. Thank you. Thank you. And Carla, what was your experience with programming? What are your periods like?
Well, we have 40-minute periods. So even though the period is 40 minutes, it's about 30 minutes that the kids actually have to work by the time they get in and settle down and then clean up and everything. It worked out great. Our kids really loved it. Some groups had it more than once a week. Others had it once a week. There was the same things like Dana was saying we ran into where some projects didn't fully get finished and then Dave would have to help the kids or he'd bring them in on another period so that they can finish up. But overall, they seem to have enough time. We also have considered the idea of extending it. Not sure, we're still in the process of going on it, but in 40 minutes, they did. So they got, I would say overall for the summer, they completed about 3 to 4 projects for those kids that were here all the full summer. Some of the kids who were here for only part of the summer, Dave helped them along to finish their projects so that they could take it home with them. So time is always an issue, especially if you have a child who is here 1 week, out a week, and then you have to catch them up. But overall, the 40-minute block seemed to have worked. I'm not sure whether we'll go to a longer time period, but we have thought about that idea.
Okay.
40 minutes was great. I would agree, Carla, that 40 minutes is a really ideal amount of time.
Yeah. Typically, the group sizes are about 12 kids.
Yeah.
The older kids might have had a few more. The younger kids might have had a few less. But the average is around 12 kids per group. And they worked at long tables, and they had their setup. And then Dave would walk around and work with them, and then whatever helpers. And, of course, the counselors were there, although sometimes they more wanted to do the project rather than help the kids. But that's pretty typical. But, yeah, they were able to complete their projects.
Yeah. There was a question from the audience about, do you do one project per period or do they stretch over multiple periods?
It depends on the project.
Yeah.
Our kids went to woodworking once a week. Everyone got it once a week. And some projects extended over 2 weeks, maybe more. But also when it wasn't the whole group needed to finish the project to move on to something else. If someone was finished first, started something new with them. And someone asked what our youngest kid was that went to woodworking. I have to confirm, but I feel like our youngest kids, our preschool kids, went to woodworking. Everybody went, I believe, this summer. It's accessible for everybody.
Yeah, we're actually working, and we're going to give you a call. We're alpha testing a 4 to 6 year old curriculum that we developed with the local preschool director. So we can work with that. I've worked with kids as young as rising first graders, and with the same projects that are standard. And we sort of have I'm going to shift to a different slide on programming, where we kind of break out kids like 1st to 3rd grade, 4th to 6th, and 7th to 9th, so that there's different projects for different ages. And we always build in what Dana was talking about, the scrapitecture, where kids can, build something on their own because you've got the scrap bin and kids are super creative. So yeah, but that's great. You're working all the way down, the safety glasses and everything. It is quite safe. Cool. So let's see. Next on the agenda, we talked a little bit about hurdles. We heard about timing and staffing. But was there anything else that things that you kind of overcame that you would want other people to know about? Just being very open.
I think in our case, it was more the financing, because when I went to my committee as a nonprofit, and I said, I'm looking to bring this program in. This is what the cost is, whatever. And they took a deep breath and said, wow, that's a lot. So the initial hurdle of the money was a big thing. I will tell you that it was great because Mike, you worked with us on figuring out that. And then overall, it was definitely worthwhile. because in the end, the kids really loved it. They're looking forward to coming back and doing it again. And we have something that we don't have to keep putting into it every year. We just keep up with it like with anything else, make sure that everything is still in good use and all that. So it's a one-time expense, and then you just keep working with it. So although the initial outlay seemed like a lot of money, the return for it was definitely worthwhile.
That's great. And how did you get your board over the hump?
Wasn't easy. It was really like convincing them, showing them what it is, that you have to keep bringing in new programs. And this is something that's different. Parents loved it because, again, it's something that kids don't get a chance to do in their everyday life, because with running to sports or social medias or internet or whatever it is, the time to really sit and go back to old-fashioned ways, which, sad to say that, but it gave them an outlet that they don't normally get. So parents are really excited about that. And that's part of what camp is about. It's getting those experiences that you wouldn't get at school or at your sports team or whatever. It's something where kids, they build their own self-confidence. And I think that's a really important thing when they create this project and they're like, wow, I did this myself. And it's a physical thing that they hold on to. It's not something on a screen that's, it's three-dimensional, it's live. So it's really a wonderful thing. So, and then they get to take it home and they have it on their shelf, which works really well because it's a reminder for them that, oh, wow, I made this. I can't wait to go back next summer. So I think it's an awesome program. I'm a definite proponent of going, using your hands and your brains and everything together. And it's working together. It's teamwork too, because the kids would work together in groups and like figure out, oh, I have an issue with this. What can I do? Particularly with the older kids, because they would get more in depth. The younger kids, we started with kids in second grade. And so they could do it. Although I'd love to see the program for the younger kids. And you really saw them building. It's building their self-confidence and their belief in themselves, which comes out later on through all different aspects in their lives.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. And Dana, what are some things that you overcame?
For us, it was obviously the, JCC telling them we would like to purchase this product was something that they needed to swallow. But it was positive because everyone that I spoke to about it thought, wow, that's amazing. That's so great. And my committee was totally on board. So we were able to do it. And then I think the biggest piece that this summer, now that we're really doing more with it, that I found for next summer is kind of something that we're going to hurdle over now is really budgeting for the projects in advance, as far as because we were doing more this summer and the instructor was more able, we were going through wood a lot faster. So it was something where I went, whoa, we got to go get more wood. And I think with more pre-planning of it now, with a better understanding of once it's actually running the way that it really has potential to run, we can really, I would suggest really sitting down and making that budget for the summer, because it is a program that can kind of surprise you if you're running out last minute for wood here and there. It does get a little bit pricey, but if you're planning for it, it's more obtainable. So that was our big thing.
That's great. Thank you. Yeah. So, to those ends, we can work with people on, some financing options, and I'm happy to follow up with anyone about pricing after the fact, after this webinar. But suffice to say, for now, the first year you're kind of buying the equipment, which is the lesson plans for the first year, the training, the equipment, which are these workbenches that go on your tables, the tool chest, and all the hand tools. So it's everything but the wood. The wood costs, you could factor ballpark, like depending on your periods. Oh, for a 30-minute period, it might be like 20 to 25 cents per kid per, period. And so we also have spreadsheets where we can help you estimate exactly down to the foot how much wood you'll need. And then what we figured out for this summer, I don't know if I've shared this with you, Dana and Carla, is how to get the lumberyard to prep it all for you.
Ooh,
Yeah, really exciting.
great.
You could get a pallet delivered to you and you could buy one big order and get some efficiencies on pricing. And it's all prepped. All of our projects start with 3-foot lengths of wood or shorter. And so you don't have to have your facilities people wrangling these 16 footers around the camp. And,
Yep.
and you can have all your supplies pretty much ready to go. I remember Dave, who taught for Carla, he was one cost that Carla didn't incur was the time he would have had to spend prepping everything. And so we're happy to try and, reduce that cost for you and reduce the headache. Year over year, we offer retraining and new lesson plans that we're always iterating every year. And so now we have about, I think there's like 12 or 14 on the screen, and we've got 5 or 6 more coming for next summer. And some of those are big, like one's a kitchen stool, one's a big bench. They're really impressive, but they're like 10, 11 hours to complete. So we want to slow down the kids. So they're getting a lot of value out of each hour of activity, and it's not necessarily for the advanced stuff. We don't want them whipping through the wood. They're not building a house. So yeah, it's great. It's great feedback. This is wonderful. So we talked a little bit about what's next. I just want to ask something from the audience, which was, have you done anything as a group? Have you done any like buddy benches or community projects yet with your kid?
I don't believe we have.
Uh-huh.
We started, Dave came to me, and we were working on an idea for our older kids to be working on a community thing that would be around the camp. Unfortunately, time ran out for the summer, so hopefully next summer we'll be able to do that.
Yeah, that's great. They're beautiful things, and there's always jobs, signs. There's a plan for an Adirondack chair. It's called a Wave Hill chair that I've built with a student, and it actually uses 2x4s, and he cut the 2x4s with the same equipment. And so it's surprising the scale, at which you can operate. And we've done a few projects for schools. And so, yeah, you can build like large scale equipment, 2x4 based benches and things with the same setup. And it's just lovely to have where, an older group can give something back to the camp. And then when they come and visit, or they come back as a counselor in training, they have something to point to and inspire the younger kid. So that's really nice. Thank you for asking that question. So I guess just to finish, are there any, what advice would you give other camp directors who might be considering this?
I would say go for it.
Yeah, I mean, do it.
Just don't let the cost stop you from the program.
It's a great gaming opportunity for those of you who need to find, if you need to build a fund to finance it, or to have somebody come in and do it. It is an amazing naming opportunity. And if you're at a JCC like I am, it is it can be year round. So it may not have to all come out of the camp budget. It could be shared among after school programs or early childhood programs. So you can be very creative with your financial pieces for it, but it's wonderful. Everyone should get it.
To that end, there's another budget and another population, which, inclusion programming for special needs, where the same programs being used by about 6 or 7 different special education schools. And it's been really beautiful, again, towards that goal of accessibility and building life skills in all children. We're really pleased that, almost based on the different student or camper counselor ratios that you may have with a inclusion program, you're really able to achieve a lot. That chair I was mentioning, the Wave Hill chair, was a one-on-one ratio. A young man who lives with autism, and he did it. It's the biggest project we've ever made with the Maple Woodshop kit, and it was done by someone that if you saw him, you wouldn't expect it, and that's the point. That we love to be surprised by the potential in people. So good. Any last thoughts?
No, I see someone was asking how hard is it to move. We roll it around. I mean, we have it in one particular cabin, but like for the winter, we've moved it out so it's not exposed to the elements. So it's really not hard at all. It's very well thought out.
I will say that, Mike, one thing that might be nice is to share how you transport it, because I'm very lucky to have Mike in my backyard. So we share our kit for many things. And so he's helped me get it back and forth between camp and the JCC, but it definitely isn't the easiest thing to relocate.
So exactly, it's funny, we've gotten, yes. So I love it. I love it. I love it. So to answer that, the standard tool chest is probably about 400 pounds. The carcass, as it's called in woodworking, the body of it probably weighs 80 pounds. The drawers we've now engineered to come out very easily, and the workbenches and tools can also all come out. So in that case, it's something where it requires a van, but it can be broken down and transported. However, we have another tool chest, which is much smaller. It's for 8 kids at a time, and it's meant to be the more portable version. So we're looking at after-school programs, and I don't have a photo of it, but I can follow up with people afterwards. I mean, I have a photo of it, but I don't want to take your time to find it. And it's much more portable. If portability is the primary concern, we have a partner down in the DC area, well, Philly and DC, and they took it to 5 different camps over the summer. So it fits into an SUV. It's something where 2 reasonable people can transport it. So yeah, there's always options. Always options.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Well, again, I want to thank our partners so much. Thank you, Dana. Thank you, Carla. It's lovely to be in an industry where everyone's so collaborative. When we all share this mission of trying to help kids develop and grow to their greatest potential. And so we look forward to continuing to work with each of you and hopefully people on this call. And thanks again. We're here.
Mike,
Thanks,
can I
Mike.
add one thing that I'm not sure who's on this call, but I think it's a really important piece if you're coming from the JCC world or the Jewish camping world, is that we worked with Mike and we integrated the curriculum using Jewish values. So also for the JCCs and Jewish camping or after school, whatever programs you have out there, if you're looking to sell and find the money, again, that is a huge piece to help find the funding. If you can relate it to Jewish values in your institution, it will be much more interesting for a donor than just a woodshop program.
That's a beautiful point. Yeah, we have programming that's explicitly, like the projects are explicitly Jewish, and there's others where it's more implicit, where it's using biblical values and providing a lens through which you can view woodworking. And the nice thing about that lens is that it honestly operates at a level where the religion itself doesn't matter so much. It could be just as easily implemented at a YMCA camp or many other cultures, because a lot of it's about charity and community and humility, and it's fairly universal values that we'd love to inspire in our children. And so yes, but we definitely have that and are eager to share that. It's just another way to connect people. In general, most kids growing up today are not connected to any trade or craft. Yet you go back a few generations and everyone was. The white collar society is a fairly modern invention. And so it's really, reconnecting people with their heritages and the values that different institutions want to transmit to the next generation. So thank you so much, Dana, for mentioning that. Yeah, good. All right. Well, thank you, everyone, and take care. Wonderful days.
Bye.
Bye.